Welcome to the More Than More podcast, where we discuss building meaningful, impactful businesses, careers, and lives through real estate. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
102 pending so far.
Yay, go team.
Go team. That's a pretty cool day. I saw Stephen Kerr just announced that he had 100 pendings career so far. And
he may have been celebrating that in the office.
Was
today.
he?
Yes. Go Stephen.
Well, every office needs a Stephen.
Yes.
Hi, Nichole.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast studio. You are no stranger to the space. You do a lot of these.
I may be forced.
You are an unwilling participant in a lot of podcasts. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. This is a specific conversation to commemorate your big win on Friday at the awards banquet, the More Than More awards recipient for 2024. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Totally surprised or?
Totally surprised.
I mean, there's no way you could have known that was coming.
No. I put my head down at the table and was like, that can't be real.
It was a rough night for me. I
cried.
I know, but I nearly cried several times. And so I was like, I could see you, and I knew that halfway through what I was saying, you knew I was talking about you.
When you said mentoring, I'm like, oh, shoot. It's me.
You were confident at that point that it was you?
I think so, yeah. Especially when you said big brothers, big sisters.
Well, that was, I think I said you were big, and right when I said you're a big, something like that.
Yeah.
I knew at that point you'd know. So anyway, congratulations. Was that fun for you?
It was fun, minus the microphone, but it was fun.
I can't remember. Did you say something?
Oh, yeah. Well, I kind of felt forced. You're like, you have one chance. You can. I'm like, oh, shoot, I have to. Well, I'm extremely thankful. I'm not a huge, spotlight kind of girl.
Yeah. You're an amazing Robin. You don't want to be Batman, it seems like.
I know. I love being Robin. I said I can go on and I can talk about anyone else all day long. Like, I love being a cheerleader and an advocate for others, but...
Well, then today we'll stretch you because we are here to talk about you. So
yay.
I appreciate your willingness to play along. How was the awards banquet for you?
It was fun.
Highlights?
Other
than
always
your
nice to
moment?
see, like several years ago when we were smaller, I would see Ankeny people a lot more often. And so it's always fun to see faces that I don't get to see as often. Yeah.
Yeah. It is increasingly challenging. I mean, I was chatting to a couple of agents about how many people they knew or didn't know in the room.
Oh, yeah. So many people I don't know now, but that's cool too.
It's bittersweet, right?
Yeah.
Like you miss the smaller tribe that we had. But it's super cool to see that many people exposed to, well, just being able to be a part of what we're building and doing.
Yeah.
I always feel like that night, I mean, obviously we're there to celebrate wins and accomplishments and sales. And I think that's a big part of obviously what we're doing there. And we get to get dressed up and eat a nice meal.
Oh, yeah.
But
It was great.
The food was good, right?
Yeah.
I barely tasted mine. It's so hard to eat and be
on.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
Well, you probably feel that when you guys do your client parties and stuff.
Yeah, we forget to eat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I forced myself to scarf down half of the food, but I barely tasted it.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that night for me is so much more about, I feel like we always gain a lot of traction with our entire team on just reminding everybody of what we believe and what we stand for and what we value. And I think it's so cool that spouses and whoever gets to join us and be a part of that. So
Totally. I mean, it says a lot about you guys and the quality of people that we have to see that many good people in a room.
So you were surprised to win. I want to know, we got coffee a few weeks ago and we were chatting about some stuff that you're up to. Mm-hmm. Maybe can I get your take on More Than More? What does More Than More mean in your mind?
Well, I remember the conversation we had during coffee, and I told you that, Megan recruited me into real estate. It's not like this was my background. My background was family services and originally helping at-risk youth and then adults with disabilities. And for for years, I mean, I love what I do, but I would say around COVID, maybe when things started getting really crazy and busy, I would have, like, at the end of the year, just moments of like, is this my purpose? I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And Megan and Jake would always kind of talk me back to like, you know, you're doing okay. And I would stick with it. And that happened for a few years. And then finally this moment of, I think Megan was the one that told me this because her husband, Tim, maybe has had these conversations too. Like, your job doesn't have to be your purpose, but it can be your fuel for what you do. And that was kind of like an aha moment for me. Like, that's absolutely right. Like, I get to do this job, but that's not like the driving force for me. It's the people. And then that's kind of like how I got back into doing things that filled me up. So big brothers, big sisters, girls on the run. Like, I love kids. That's my heart.
So let's get to those. Your job doesn't have to be your purpose.
Yeah.
So can you expand on that?
I mean, for me, it was just kind of like, I love what I do, but I'm still missing something. Like, I still feel a little bit empty. And I don't know, like back in college, I did do a lot of volunteer work. And then I think I moved to Des Moines, and just naturally with the flow of how things go, like I got married, I started my first real job, I had kids. Like, that's such a busy season of life that I let the other stuff like fall to the wayside. And that's the stuff that makes me really happy and fills me up and gives me purpose. So
if your job's not your purpose, does that mean then you just find a way to create your purpose outside of work hours?
Or
what does
that
that
there's
mean?
so much beauty in real estate because like I can have the flexibility, I can make the money, and I can do the thing. I'm still helping people. It's in a different capacity, but like, how else can I take that then to make a bigger impact, I guess?
I want to play with that a little bit because you're certainly helping people in your job.
Yes.
But in your mind, maybe there's a categorical difference. For you, it's children. If it's children, that's the purpose because that's where your passion or heart is. Adults is different, or?
Well, I think you're getting paid to do the job. That's also a difference.
Why does that change anything? What if you were changed? What if you were paid to just help kids? Would it make it less?
I still think that there's a difference between going out and doing something that you're not getting paid for because you're not expecting anything in return.
Okay.
Maybe. You're looking at me like, no, that can't make sense.
Hey, you won the award. You won the award, so you're...
I love what I get to do with real estate, but it needed to be something more too.
Yeah, I'm certainly not disagreeing with what you're saying. I love the idea of wrestling through that, maybe at a different time. Maybe just the notion that whether you're paid or not paid doesn't make the thing that you're doing good or not good.
Right.
And if someone started paying Mother Teresa for what she was doing, it'd still be what she was doing. Maybe that's tapes that we have in our head, or maybe that's lies that we tell ourselves, and we've come to believe that charity necessarily needs, or good necessarily needs to be free or charitable.
Oh, I'm sure I have a lot of lies in my head.
Well, I think we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that quote. Your job doesn't need to be your purpose. So what you've done is you're clearly you're a two.
Yes.
You're a people person, and you're about serving and helping and supporting others.
Yeah.
Yes? No, that's your heart?
Yes.
And you do that in your role.
Yes.
And you're helping, your team.
Yes.
But also you're helping all the clients that you guys serve. What's your title or role again? Good.
Megan
Good question.
Director of Client Experience.
Client experience.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's certainly an element of the essence of the beauty in you, your gift, your unique ability comes out in that space.
Yeah.
But it doesn't fulfill you there in the same way that it does when you're doing it in the spaces that you were in before. Can you go back to what you were doing before? You said your background was in?
Yeah. So I went to school for family services, and then my first job out of college was Sequel Care. So it's kind of the community-based part of Woodward Academy. So kind of helping kids transition out of placement and getting them acclimated back into the community. So I did that for several years, and then had a baby and didn't know what I was going to do. And we moved back to Des Moines, and I was an assistant at Northwestern Mutual. And at the time,
I remember this. Yeah.
yeah, at the time, the current building that we're in, Northwestern was upstairs and Century 21 was downstairs.
And we heard you guys plodding up and down we could hear your footsteps every day.
Well, not me. I was crying in my cubicle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I loved who I worked for, but I did not like that job. And I stayed in it far too long just because of him. And I think Jake finally got tired of listening to me cry. So like after 6 months, I quit. And that day, Megan reached out to me and said, would you ever consider working for me? And I'm like, hey, I just quit my job today. Like this is definitely.
Way. How did she know you?
She was our realtor.
That's a cool story.
Yeah. Yep. Vicky and my mother-in-law are in a sorority together back home. So they introduced us, and yeah, it was 10 years ago.
Work by referral, hire by referral.
Yeah.
So you step out of a place that gives you passion. You have a kid, so life happens.
Yep.
And then you take this other job because it just made sense, or it was an open door, or
yeah, I think it was just like an opportunity. Someone said you should meet this guy. I think you guys would be a good fit, and
so you quit, and then you take this job in real estate, which still is not your passion. And does it get better? Does the crying stop, or do you still feel that same sense of emptiness?
Well, you can imagine it got much better because it's Megan, right? Like, yeah. And
you immediately, you're having fun for sure.
Yeah, we're for sure having fun.
There's what's it called? There's mimosas involved.
Yeah, there are mimosas. I feel like it's been an evolution with us, though. Like, I didn't start out in the beginning doing what I'm doing now. It was more truly like an assistant role, doing pop buys, preparing, showing tours, that kind of stuff. And then she got pregnant, and we decided it would be best for me to get licensed. And then it's just been, growth every year, and a little more hands-on. And
so you didn't answer the question, because I'm loving this exploration of finding meaning and purpose. I mean, obviously, just a sidestep, I've worked to integrate the two ideas of my life purpose and mission, the thing that I get passion from, that I think is the meaningful part of what I do. I've found a way to integrate that more and more into building a real estate company.
Yeah.
So Orphans of Tesso is something I do outside, but increasingly I view building our organization as the beautiful thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe I'm fortunate that building and coaching and guiding people and helping them become, both our staff and our agents, happens to work well inside the walls.
Yep.
And so I'm interested in your journey as you go from crying in Northwestern Mutual, not because of the people, but because of what you were doing with your day, and maybe missing the beauty of the sense of meaning you had in the previous roles. You step into real estate, and it's a good space, and you like the job, but I'm guessing there's still that sense of yearning, or I don't want to put words in your mouth. What are you feeling at that point?
The best, we've talked about this even this year. Like we go through how every year works for us and what needs to change. I don't really like being put in a box. So even though I'm a helper and considered a licensed assistant, I think we have a very unique thing because I still need people very much.
Yeah.
So I can't, some people want an assistant to do paperwork and admin, and like if that's what you want is someone just to do Canva, like that's not me. Like I have to be talking to people and have to be hands-on. Like that's what fills me up. I do all that stuff too, but that can't be my only role. So the people is what gives me purpose.
Yes, that's your integration.
Yes.
That's the part where, and that's what I was saying earlier, there's a portion of your gift that you are able to deploy inside of the work, inside of, what did you say, your job doesn't have to be. And I'm suggesting that your job is more than what you might give it credit for of the thing. But where I'm trying to go is that I think there was still a yearning in you for something more than that.
Yes.
And so, yeah, tell me the story then of how you get involved with Big Brother, Big Sister, and how that all happens. Because at that point, were you already involved there?
Nope. So our kids are a little bit older now. They're 11 and 7. So a few years ago, I was just like, I'm ready to do some more volunteer work. And my husband agreed. And naturally, Big Brothers, Big Sisters just makes sense. That's where I did my internship in college at Cedar Falls at UNI. And I was a mentor in college for a little boy in the school-based program and a little girl in the community-based program. And so we wanted our kids to be involved, so we decided to do it as a family. And we went through the interview process, we met him, and now we've been mentoring a little boy for 2.5 years. And it's been great.
What does that look like?
You know, there's like probably a misconception of like mentoring has to be very overwhelming, or I'm just busy and I don't have the time. And I would encourage that people explore that with an open mind and heart, because it doesn't have to be. Like, I'm busy. I have a job that's busy. I have 2 kids that are in activities. My husband travels for work and we make it work. Like, it's 2 times a month at the minimum if that's what you want. And you don't scroll on your phone or watch a Netflix documentary. Like, you'll make it work if you want to.
You're saying we fill our time with a bunch of noise, and
yeah,
there is
I think
more time
people
than we
think they're busier than they are, right? Like, have you ever met a non-busy person? Like,
what?
I just feel like I know people that are always preaching that they're so busy, and I'm like, with what? Like,
yeah, it's like people who hate drama that are always at the center of drama.
Yeah, it's like we all have the same time, and yes, there are people that are very busy, but you have a way of prioritizing.
Yeah, so get practical. Your commitment to be a big for a little in the program means what in terms of your time commitment, and practically how does it all work?
Yeah, so when you first get started, they ask you to, do a year, and that's for at least 2 times a month for an hour each. That's like bare minimum. And then after you've met that, it's kind of like you have a relationship with the family and you kind of just do what works. I would say we see our little, 2 to 3 times a month, and it just depends on what. Like, it's very much, he's just kind of part of our family. Does your
little have a name? Are you allowed to share that?
Yeah, Karsten is his name.
Karsten? How old's Karsten?
Yes, he's 10. So I have a 7-year-old daughter, and then Karsten's 10, and then our son Mac is 11.
So Karsten's hanging out with your family.
Oh, yeah.
How often?
2 to 3 times a month.
Okay.
And, like we just had him this past weekend. We went and picked him up so he could come be part of our neighborhood egg hunt. And the weekend before, we had him just for fun. Like, he loves to come to our house. Like, it doesn't have to be crazy ideas.
Some big event or something.
Yeah, he loves to come see what normal looks like and play. And
what does Karsten need? Like, what are you guys providing for him that, I'm not looking for his family background or anything like that. I'm curious what you believe is being accomplished by that connection.
Well, I do think it has a lot to do with background. I think a lot of these kids maybe have situations that are not typical. So maybe they're low income, or maybe they only have one guardian, and that's kind of his situation. You have a mom who has 2 kids who's stressed out just trying to make ends meet. So he just gets to be part of something that maybe he wouldn't otherwise see or have opportunities for. And that can just be very normal, like a family dynamic that he doesn't get to witness.
Normal's a very interesting word, because healthy families and the healthiest of families are still full of crap.
Yeah, the Johnsons are a little full of chaos.
Right? Like, there's also, the healthiest of families are still families.
Yes.
And so we take for granted, first of all, we take for granted that other people have healthy families.
Yeah.
Second of all, we think that ours isn't that great because it's got all this craziness. And so why would we ever want somebody involved in our craziness? Right. But what we don't understand is that craziness is the beauty of how families work. Mm-hmm. and how few children actually do get to grow up inside the chaos of a healthy family.
Yeah, and even just like a home that like it's so silly, but like a roof over your head or a clean house and like things that he wants. It's like he comes to our house, can we have fruit? Like, it'll make me emotional, but you know, like his biggest ask is, can I have a fresh pair of socks? Like, okay, my kids are not asking for socks. They're asking for crap that they don't need.
So do you have the freedom to get him socks then?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's a very natural, very organic. I know there's some formality up front in the filtering and matching process.
Yep.
But then there's some structure to the initial meetings and like just to get to know each other.
Yeah, you'll have an interview and it has to be a decision that you both feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
So you'll meet the family and make sure it's a good fit. And you even like that first time you go out, like if you go out with your little and you're like, yeah, this isn't going to work, it's not going to probably be a good match. Like they want it to be a success.
Yeah.
So they're going to do their best to make sure that happens.
Yeah, I got to meet with someone, I know you know this, but I'm just telling everyone else, from Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and I spent a lot of time trying to understand that process. And it does seem like they're very authentically interested in long-term relationships that actually work.
Oh, absolutely.
And so they'd much rather blow it up early than have you pretend or try. And I think that's very admirable, because a lot of these systems, I mean, I've done foster care, we've done Mentor Iowa, we've done several different things. The system's a struggle.
Yeah.
And when you've got kids that need to be placed in the foster care system, sometimes just the ability to get them somewhere is prioritized. Big Brother, Big Sister seems to be very intentional about the placement process.
Yeah, you go through all this paperwork, kind of saying the things that you're interested in, and they do the same. So we were matched up because they feel like, we have similar interests, or, if you love to be outdoorsy, they're not going to put you with a child who doesn't like to be outdoors. They're going to do their best to find that good fit.
Well, good luck finding a fit for the Bruin household. But I know we're circling back, because we've done foster care, we've done Mentor Iowa, we've done obviously 15 years of Orphans of Tessa, and my kids are old now. And so we are exploring, so what is the next chapter of finding someone, families, individuals, kids to invest into look like? But my question there was, so there's rigidity to this up front, but it sounds like where you are now is a very free-flowing relationship with a young boy that gets to be a part of your family to some extent at your discretion and his parents' discretion, or caregiver or whoever. And it sounds like a lot of it's just hanging out.
A lot of hanging out, yeah.
I mean, that's what you're doing with your kids anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely go out and do things in the community, but I think that's what I want people to understand, is it doesn't have to be, you're just doing life with someone. You're showing them what life could look like, We all need that. Like, even as adults, it's nice to be in a room with people when there's opportunity, and there's no difference when you're a child. Like, let them dream. Let them see what's out there and what's possible. Like, the first time we went to dinner, we're like, where do you want to go to dinner? And he picked McDonald's, and then Quick Star. I'm like, hey, are you sure? Like, how about these options?
Well, that's what he knows, right?
Yeah, that's all he knows. And so now he's been to lots of places, and yeah.
Well, it's a problem when he goes home and somebody wants to get takeout and he wants 801 grand.
Hey, I didn't say I did that.
What'd you say?
I didn't say I did that. I'm not taking little kids there.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. It's such a beautiful and simple thing, but I'm interested in the hang-ups that people have about it, because I mean, I've covered a few of them already. Like, my family's a mess. We don't have time. There's all sorts of voices that could play. I think back to, I don't know, my family wasn't terrible. I'm certainly not Karsten, right? Karsten or Karsten?
Karsten.
I'm not Karsten. But I don't know, I grew up in our family wasn't always great or safe. Or
every family has dynamics.
Yeah. Well, but I remember being here as a college student immigrant, and there were two people in my life that brought me into their family. One of them was Roger Wheeler. And
Go Raj.
yeah. And I remember hanging out with their family. They brought me in for Christmas, and I hung out at their house a lot for a couple of years. They, like, I don't know, they didn't mentor me, but they mentored me.
Yeah.
And
I think that's like also, you know, mentor looks like a lot of different things. Sometimes it's not something you necessarily went through paperwork to sign up for, but he didn't even know how he was impacting you.
I think he did. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I think he had an idea, but it was little things like how the family interacted at dinner. It was how he prayed with Jesse every night, and he had me come do it with them, and it was just little things. And I looked at all this, and I was like, "Whoa, this is new.
Yeah,
this is weird. You guys are really tight. Like this is strange. I don't know what to do with it." But it expanded my horizons. Another person was Mark Arendt, who was a guy that I did youth ministry with at Cornerstone. But every week for lunch, he would go home almost every day and eat lunch with his wife, who was at home with their like 2-year-old daughter. But we would sit and have lunch at this table, and he would engage with his daughter and his wife. And it was so different than anything I'd ever encountered before. But it absolutely created anchors in my brain because it was like, wait.
Because you want that.
What do you mean? I didn't know what I wanted, but for the first time, I'm like, wait, this is another option. Yeah. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yep.
And I think that's so much of what this is about is you don't need to create a curriculum for some kid.
No,
you need to bring them into a world and expose them to a slightly more healthy version of what they're dealing with without the insecurity of thinking that you've got to actually have your family together. You're probably more together than you realize relative to some families out there.
Yes. And our kids being involved in it, they love him. They get so excited when he gets to come be part of something. They ask about him. They worry about him. Actually, I feel like our son is constantly like, what can I give him this time? And is clearing out his closet. And like, do you want a pair of shoes? Do you want this?
Probably really good for your kids too.
Yeah, it's very good for our kids. And that's what we wanted, you know.
Well, I think that's super cool. Do you have a final plug on that real quick? Like if somebody is interested, step one, talk to you.
Yeah.
I know we're not here to run an ad, but I do think this is a beautiful space for people to get involved in.
Yes. I would love to answer any questions and be that person if you have questions. So
they have charters, 4 or 5 different major metros throughout Iowa, I believe. I don't remember all the locations, but I know up northeast and.
Yep. Like I know Cedar Falls, Iowa City, Des Moines. I don't remember the other ones, but.
Well, I think that's really cool what you're up to there. It's interesting. This award is sort of very broad, right? Like More Than More started with realtor seasonal psychosis syndrome and us saying, let's redirect everyone's attention. Let's have them stop thinking for 1 minute about how they're going to do more. And just take a look at how cool it is to be in an industry that can open up some freedom for us to go do meaningful things in our work or outside of our work. It's really beside the point. Let's be a group of people that are more interested in what we can do to be agents of change. Mm-hmm. And so what you're doing in Big Brother, Big Sister, I think is perfectly fitting and good and great and awesome. It's really not the entirety of why I think you won the award, right?
Yeah.
I think it's just the general gist of how do we also celebrate people that have hearts to want to serve and give and not contribute to the psychosis of chasing more. I know you and
Not that I don't have that too sometimes.
Well, you do, and so does your crazy, your big, Megan.
Yeah, it's called balance.
Well, and I know you and I get to have secret conversations behind the scenes when Megan's going down one of her like, oh my gosh, it's January, the wheels are falling off.
It's February.
Is that when the wheels fall off? Thoughts on realtor seasonal psychosis syndrome?
I mean, I think it's real. Like we like to be busy, and so when we're not, you kind of lose that like sense of yourself, which we said this year we need to start journaling. Like it's the same every year. We don't know why we're surprised every year, but we are. So I think maybe next February you might just see us less. We might be getting out of here for a little bit.
You might be on a beach with a journal.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever it takes to keep doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
You had a big night. It was kind of fun. You got the More Than More, and obviously Megan was #1 this year.
She's a rock star.
$1 million club or whatever we called it.
Yep.
Very cool to celebrate. Well, Well, I don't know what else to say to close. If you have thoughts, feel free to share. I just want to say that we appreciate all of your. What we are is just a function of a bunch of people and their independent respective contributions, the juju that makes all of us what we are, right?
Yeah.
And what we've got going on here, I think, is pretty cool and special. And so it was fun to highlight your contribution. And I hope that you continue doing that and being you. And I hope you help Megan and yourself overcome your psychosis.
We're going to work on it.
Well, I think you'll be fighting that fight forever.
Yeah.
But super grateful for you and your contribution and for being someone that cares about others, but also our team and everyone in the wall. So congratulations again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing. What's the weekend about?
Oh gosh, the weekend we have a first communion class and dinner with friends tomorrow night. So
love it at 801 Grand, I presume.
No.
Thanks again. Appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. For more episodes, resources, and show notes, head to morethanmorepodcast.com.